The weather is changing here in our small town in Indiana. The temperatures are cooling down and the wind is picking up, smelling of falling leaves and spice and the coming winter. So it's some warm oatmeal this morning for my daughter and me, with some of the last in-season strawberries added in for a final burst of that summer sweet flavor. It's not true for everyone, but for me, the rush of the big city can feel frenetic rather than energizing, or stressful rather than invigorating. Where we live, having little around us besides cornfields, our neighbors, and local businesses and industry, feels like being able to take in a big, slow breath, relieving and unwinding. Our town also has many beautiful old buildings, from grand official structures to historic and carefully maintained Victorian homes. Watching fall come to this town, with its leaves falling on rambling old lawns and velvet evening skies, feels like coming home. Life in our small town is slow and sweet. We have our favorite local park and ice cream shop. There is a lovely historic downtown area, beautifully preserved, with a grand old courthouse and library. And as you take a leisurely stroll along the sidewalk downtown, it's always a leisurely stroll downtown, you'll also see a local coffee shop, an antique store, mom and pop boutiques, and even a farmer's market shop front. It feels like a place almost outside of time, from a bygone era of Midwestern Americana, with tea or lemonade on the front porch in summer afternoons, and Bing Crosby crooning Christmas carols from the living room radio in the winter. Even walking along the downtown sidewalk in early autumn, with its pumpkins and fall festival announcements, you can almost catch a glimpse of what this place would look like when it snows, with shining strings of Christmas lights everywhere and the hustle and bustle of holiday shoppers perusing all the wares on Main Street. One of my favorite things about the downtown district is all the blooming flowers. They add an element of effortless beauty to the place, cheerily waving in the breeze, a reminder of warm summer months behind. Our old antique shop in town is one we've now visited many times. There is something about its utter stillness that makes you feel as though time has stopped when you enter it. The air in each of its multiple stories feels slightly warmer the higher you climb, reminiscent of an old attic whose treasures you may be about to discover. It feels almost oddly like a sacred place, a place that time has forgotten. I enjoy ambling through our historic downtown district. It's so easy to not rush here. The afternoon feels slow and syrupy, with no compulsion to hurry off and attend to life's ever-present needs. Instead, it's enough to bask in the warmth of the sunshine soaking into my skin, to enjoy the aimless wandering from store to store, to experience the nothingness of just being there, to enjoy the day as it comes to me. I tend to appreciate this type of activity because I tend toward a sense of anxiety, of feeling rushed to always get more and more done each day. I often feel as if there are not enough hours in the day for all the tasks I take upon myself, watching the clock as if I'm in a race against it. That's why it's such a novel and wonderful adventure to be able to get out of my own head, to step into the world around me and really experience it, not reflecting regretfully on past mistakes or straining anxiously toward the future, but just being. We all need that, I think, that opportunity to get outside ourselves, to experience life in the present instead of merely thinking about it in our minds. How often do our thoughts run away from us, racing with anxiety, planning for the future, trying to avoid or being filled with regret about the past? And one way we can work with ourselves to still our anxious thoughts is to take that time that we know we should, to get into an environment where we can relax and just be there, Soak in the sights, smells, tastes, and whatever else that takes our attention away from ourselves and onto the wonderful place that we're in. I have been meaning to try a recipe for a pork loin roast I've been saving, with the only requirement being to thaw the roast and rub it down with a spice mix you make by hand right beforehand, before putting it in the oven. There's really nothing to it. Our family loves pork roast as the perfect hearty autumn main course for supper. It ended up tasting delicious and filling. Recently, we were able to go with some church friends to a local-ish pumpkin patch / corn maze / animal petting zoo bonanza for kids. Of course, passing many cornfields and assorted farmhouses on the back roads to get there. The cloudless blue sky, late afternoon sun, and wind rustling through the cornstalks all combined to seem almost magical. Something about being under that vast blue autumn Midwestern sky makes it feel as though it's the only place on earth. On the way home, we were all wiped out, the kind of tired you only get after being under direct sun for a long time. But we emerged triumphant, making it home with pumpkins galore. All that remains now is to carve some jack-o'-lanterns before Halloween, one of my husband's favorite holidays. For now, though, they'll just be fall decorations, cozying up our front porch and reminding us that it's early days yet, and autumn has many more days to come. As evening comes, and the warm golden afternoon sun drips like honey over all our neighborhood dusk shadows, that's when I appreciate even more life in our small town. Evenings are mostly quiet and gentle, and we settle into the night like a warm hug. An Enchantment of Ravens. Chapter 1. My parlor smelled of linseed oil and spike lavender, and a dab of lead tin yellow glistened on my canvas. I had nearly perfected the color of Gadfly's silk jacket. The trick with Gadfly was persuading him to wear the same clothes for every session. Oil paint needs days to dry between layers, and he had trouble understanding I couldn't just swap his entire outfit for another he liked better. He was astonishingly vain, even by fair folk standards, which is like saying a pond is unusually wet, or a bear surprisingly hairy. All in all, it was a disarming quality for a creature who could murder me without rescheduling his tea. I might have some silver embroidery done about the wrists, he said. What do you think? You could add that, couldn't you? Of course. And if I chose a different cravat? Inwardly, I rolled my eyes. Outwardly, my face ached with the polite smile I'd maintained for the past 2.5 hours. Rudeness was not an affordable mistake. I could alter your cravat as long as it's more or less the same size, but I'd need another session to finish it. You truly are a wonder. Much better than the previous portrait artist, that fellow we had the other day. What was his name? Sebastian Manywarts? Oh, I didn't like him. He always smelled a bit strange. It took me a moment to realize Gadfly was referring to Silas Merriweather, a master of the craft who died over 300 years ago. Thank you, I said. What a thoughtful compliment. Taking time to slow down and appreciate the world around us can mean different things for different people. Maybe it's a cup of coffee or tea on a cold day, or a walk in the late afternoon. Wherever you live, be it country or city or someplace else entirely, I hope you are able to get a chance to enjoy a relaxing evening, a break from the stresses of life, and the chance to reflect on the kind of life you want to live, so that you can have this season's blessings and many more to come. Thanks for watching. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.